Hello, dear family.
Hello, we are here in live conversations with Expansive Art alumni.
And today we have Taylor Holt. She also calls herself Taylor Ambrose, who's now joining in. And she's I don't know how you call it, like a poet. Yeah, she's a poet, and she joined us on like two trainings back, and it was so beautiful to have that expression of poetry during the ceremonial sessions. So, how is it that guitar music? Occultation. And there it is.
Hi.
Nice to see you again.
Good to see you.
So, how are you? How is it that it's been going for you? That you've been giving ceremonies. I saw you have one coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been wonderful. Yeah, I've been doing live group ceremonies probably once a month, something like that, and then been doing some private ceremonies outside of that. But yeah, I just did one last week, a group ceremony with a dear friend of mine, and so we kind of co-created it together, which was really fun.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm finding I really love co-creating my ceremonies with people, like mixing different, medicines, the hape or things like that. And yeah, just holding space with someone else.
Yeah, something that we were talking on the last session about how great it is when two or three or four people come together and they co-create. It
Mm-hmm.
becomes not only a blend, but
Mm-hmm.
also a mix of styles and of intentions.
Yeah.
The community just feels stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it feels like music, like you're creating music together, like an orchestra. Yeah.
Ah, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Taylor, share with us a little bit about your ceremonial path. How is it that you first started, like your first ceremonies, like
Mm-hmm.
attending, maybe the first experiences you had?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, my first experience with cacao was with you guys in
Oh, wow.
Monterey. Yeah, that was my first experience with cacao. I had never even really, I'd maybe had it like casually, but never had it in ceremony. And it was quite a journey to get down to Mexico for myself on that particular trip. And I just remember arriving, it was supposed to be a 7 hour drive and it took over 9 hours. And we just had a lot of trouble getting down there. And I got there and was feeling really ungrounded at the time. Just, ungrounded in my body and feeling a lot of anxiety, just not really knowing a lot of the people that were there, feeling a little out of my element. And almost as soon as I got there, they were like, okay, it's time to go into ceremony with Carlos and Michelle, like a cacao ceremony. And I was just like, a what? Because I was just so out of it, so like nervous for some reason. And in that ceremony, I remember it felt like coming home for the first time in a long time, if not ever, like coming home to, my body, coming home to my heart, my mind, felt just like I was in the presence of family. And it was really an earth shattering experience for me, in a really beautiful and gentle way. And so that was my first experience with cacao with you guys. And then I remember before even leaving Mexico, I asked you guys, I was like, I want to learn. I have to learn more about this medicine. And it just so happened you guys were starting your course the next month, I think it was. And so yeah, it was just beautiful being in that training with you guys and learning like about the medicine in such depth. It was really wonderful. And it was pretty much during and right after that ceremony that I started facilitating my own ceremonies. So it's been a little over a year now that I've been facilitating pretty regularly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
was very active, and we're very happy and very proud of that. That you're,
Yeah.
some people take the training and then like it kind of just passes away, but some people really like
Mm-hmm.
follow it up and
Yeah,
continue the journey, which is really beautiful.
absolutely. I mean, it really felt like just a joining of all the things that I've gone through in life so far. You know, it just felt like it was all culminating in this medicine and facilitating this medicine. My yoga training, my just my own experience with death and rebirth, and you know, all of these themes. Just again, just kind of like culminating in this experience of being able to facilitate this medicine. So yeah, it's been really, really a joy to lead people through that. Mm-hmm.
What was for you that? Because I think we never asked you that. What was like the thing that you enjoyed the most about the training?
Mm. Oh gosh, I mean, I loved the weekly ceremonies that you guys led us through were just really, really profound, and I was really taken aback by that because you know, I'd experienced your particular medicine in person, and I didn't know how that would translate, you know, via Zoom, you know, just online, you guys holding that kind of space. And I just remember I had some of the most profound experiences even in those online ceremonies, you know, through the music that we all created together and the dance that you led us through, Michelle, and all of the meditations and connecting with the different plants. And yeah, I think really just being in ceremony with you guys every week was probably, you know, my favorite part. That, and then also learning, I was really, really touched in learning about the medicinal aspects of cacao because I come from a nursing, like a healthcare background. And so that was really special to me to learn just about how healthy it is, you know, and how good it is for the body. I've used a lot of that knowledge in my practice now, even to the point of last Christmas, I brought some cacao home to my parents because my dad was struggling with high blood pressure. And so I told him, I was like, here, like, let me make cacao for you and let's drink it every day. And we'll check your blood pressure, you know, every day and see if it goes down. And it steadily went down every single day that we had cacao together. Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. It was amazing. It is amazing.
Somehow the medicine just has its own wisdom and
Mm-hmm.
makes its own way.
Mm-hmm.
In,
Absolutely.
in this essence, I feel like really soft, maybe really
Mm-hmm.
tender. It's not like wow, but just like
Yeah.
serpent like. But when
Yes.
it arrives to the
Yes.
heart, it's like wow, wow.
Yeah.
We have
Absolutely.
a lot of testimonies
Mm.
about like I have not imagined ever that cacao would get me into such a profound
Mm-hmm.
meditation state, transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
I could get this cacao right now. Yes,
Mm,
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
no.
Andrea,
Hello,
good day.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So, you were a nurse,
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time, you always like loved doing poetry. When did you start doing poetry?
Oh gosh, when I was little, I think my real first memories of writing poetry was I was maybe 6 or 7 years old, and my mom, she's born around Halloween, and Halloween is her favorite holiday. She's very eccentric in that way. And I remember one of her birthdays, yeah, I was around 6 or 7, and I wrote her what I called a spell book. And it was just a collection of these little, you know, 3 and 4 line poems about, you know, like spells she could cast about like how she could get my sister and I to clean our rooms, or how she could get my dad to take her on a date, or like little things like that. And so that was really my first memory of kind of creating poetry in that way. And then what feels like my first real like poem from the heart was whenever my grandmother passed away when I was 10 years old. And the best way that I could really honor her and go through that grieving process was to write a poem about her. And so, yeah, it started back when I was young. And then ever since then, it's just been a real love of mine. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. I just remembered how joyful for me it was when you shared your poems in the
Mm-hmm.
training. It
Yeah.
was really beautiful. Also because it is not something for me so common. Maybe. Maybe some people are starting to share some chanting. Maybe they already are yogis, so movement comes natural. But we have some people, actually Andrea here that is connected. She paints really beautiful, but poetry, it's like so unique. It was really nice to receive you like that, to receive your art.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, poetry it's very moving, but a lot of people don't connect with it right away because we're up here, you know, and it's hard for the poetry to really sink in and to really let it move, you know, those waters if we're up here all the time. And so I found that with cacao, when it really opens you up in that way, it allows the poetry to sink deeper and it allows you to connect to it just in a really different way.
And also because, I mean, I think about it because poetry is, you know, words, and words is kind of like processed in a part of the brain that is that does sometimes tend to analyze, but I guess the beauty of poetry is it like bypasses and speaks to you in symbols, like goes beyond the analytical structure of language, no, and it goes more into the feeling structure of language. And it's something that, for example, I when I first started doing live concerts around maybe 14 years ago, I used to always do like a song and then a poem, a song, a poem. And it kind of like people were a little like, isn't it just music? But I guess some of the lyrics that, funny enough, then became songs. Those poems, for me, they had such a strong presence. Where it was just silence and a voice speaking, and like it is. No, when you're singing, you're kind of like moving with rhythm and everything, like melody. But when it's just a voice speaking these symbols, these codes, I think it activates, like you say, strongly emotions and like, then again, codes within people. No? That's
Absolutely. I mean, the way that the words, I mean, honestly, like you were saying, Michelle, earlier about how cacao has a very like serpentine, you know, movement in the body, and it really finds its way to the heart, or it finds its way to different emotions that are maybe stored in different places. I feel like poetry has that same effect. It works in kind of a serpentine way without you even really realizing it. And yeah, I love that about poetry too, that you can say a lot with a little, you know. Yeah.
And also it's like, for me, it's not even trying to understand like the connection with the words, but sometimes like a chant, it's just the sound, the melody of it, the feeling of it that is already bringing something more than the concepts or what does it mean. The words, those words put together.
Yeah, absolutely.
like painting with words, and sometimes the paintings don't have to be representative of something physical, no, or something. Yeah, like so.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you lived this first ceremony that you talked about in La Huasteca with us, and then doing the training, how did you see any change in the way you write poetry, or?
Yeah, I think I definitely there was a change in my process in how I approach poetry and how I write it, because I think before, a lot of my experience with poetry, like, you know, from a young age, is I would sit there and I would think about it a lot. You know, I'd think about how I wanted to rhyme this, or how I wanted to say this, or put this feeling out there. And so I would write a poem, you know, over a period of days or months, even sometimes even a year. You know, it would just take me a long time to really, string together these words in an eloquent way that I felt like really valued what I was feeling. But I think after the ceremony and after working with cacao so much, now it's almost like I'll go a while without writing a poem, and then it'll just hit me and I'll just feel inspired, and I'll just all of a sudden start writing, and I'll get an entire poem out within 5 minutes. You know, my hand can't move, you know, fast enough to just get this poem out. And so I feel like cacao has definitely opened up my heart in that way, that things just move more swiftly. It's like how the cacao dilates your blood vessels and the water in your body moves more swiftly. It's the same way with my words. Yeah.
That sounds so delicious.
Maybe like going, because you said two very important words, like eloquence, and then what was the other one? Like inspiration. So you think that, like you went a little bit from one to the other, like going from more like an eloquence path, let's say, or trying to achieve certain aesthetic, to going from a more inspirational, maybe emotional way of writing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it definitely made that switch from almost as if like me writing poetry for other people to me writing poetry for myself. It went from this idea of, I'm putting an art form out there for other people to enjoy, which is a beautiful thing. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's certainly an aspect of it. But it went from that to really purely a form of self-expression. Yeah, I would say that's the big switch there. And hopefully it still comes out in an eloquent way. Hopefully I don't lose that piece of it, but there's less of the mind chatter around that and more from the heart.
So once you took the training and started like facilitating ceremonies, how has it been for you to like integrate? I mean, something that you've always done, like poetry, and how has it like influenced people? How do you see people have been touched by it?
Yeah. I mean, certainly whenever I am facilitating ceremony, whenever I start bringing the poetry out, that's really when I, just from an observer standpoint, start to notice the tears flow, and the bodies move just in a different way. I really noticed that the words just kind of help people sink a little bit deeper into their really embodied practice and their embodied feeling. I think it's soothing, kind of like you would tone or sing. There's something about the voice that really soothes people. I just notice it really does bring out a lot more emotion in people during ceremony. And so, I don't think I've ever facilitated a ceremony now without poetry in some form or another, whether it's my own poems or I pull a lot from the Radiant Sutras. I don't know if you guys have read that, the Sanskrit teachings, but I use a lot of that in my ceremonies. Yeah.
So I would love to attend one of your ceremonies, Taylor.
I would love that. That's such a dream. It would be such a dream to have you guys.
Yes, let's make it happen.
Yes, please.
Even after we heard you on the training, we haven't, I think, incorporated that. I mean, we always guide through the words, but it's not the same, the words that just flow in the moment, that words that have been already like worked through in a way. So yeah, it's nice comments. Yeah.
Oh.
From Andrea and from Bryant. So
have you made, I remember right now that we talked about that, about making your poem, poem a song, making it into a song. Have you done that?
I haven't done that fully, but that's still a dream of mine. Michael, who's actually joined on the call, we've played around a little bit with that. He wants to play guitar in the background. He's a really good guitarist, so play guitar in the background, to some of my poems, but I haven't really performed that live or at ceremony yet. But I definitely have weaved them together, music and poetry in ceremony, starting to play the singing bowl more. And sometimes I've, hummed or sang a little bit over the singing bowl, but I haven't quite put it together with my poetry.
Okay.
Yeah. I might have been also learning, I can't remember, during training, I think I might have been learning the ukulele. And so I'm still playing the ukulele now, and hopefully getting a little bit better at it each time.
Cool.
Yeah, of course.
Well, Michael says that you're gonna do it, so
Yes.
it's gonna happen.
He's
It's
already
gonna
setting
happen.
the intention.
Yes, yes, speaking it
It
out
works
into the universe.
a yoga teacher that's quite famous here in Mexico, and when he came to Monterrey he also likes to write poetry.
Mm.
He came to Monterrey to like showcase his book, like his
Oh,
poetry.
beautiful. Yeah.
And he invited me to play, and I was like, "What do you want me to play? Whatever, just while you're hearing the poem, just play along on what you feel." No,
Yeah.
it was really beautiful because I didn't have to think about lyrics. I didn't have to think about anything or even like a rhythm because, poetry can go up and down in a way with each one with the rhythm. So it was very free and very fun. And I think people also enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
imagine that it's going to be a
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's something about that really, like reverent silence that you were talking about earlier, where it's just silence and someone is speaking words, speaking poetry. Yeah, there's something really beautiful about that. But then also on the other side of that, I think when you incorporate the music, in the background or music alongside the poetry, it almost helps with that opening of the body. It kind of gets people into a more open state, and it's like a little doorway, into the heart. Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of like sets the emotional ambience if done correctly, obviously. If it goes with the poem, maybe if you're,
Right.
saying a poem about something very beautiful and you're playing something very creepy, then it might be.
That's true. It's a skill. Yeah.
It'd be interesting form of art.
Yeah.
Contrasting emotions.
Absolutely.
So, speaking of which, would you like to share something?
Yeah. I can share. I'll share a couple of things. So I'll share one of my favorite poems that I read, or the Sanskrit teachings from the Radiant Sutras, because it's something that I pretty much read consistently in all of my ceremonies. And so I can read a couple of those. And I think I also wrote this poem, My Cacao Blood. I wrote it perhaps during our training.
Yeah,
So I can read that again. It's actually been a while since I've read that one.
Please.
Yeah, I remember it during the training. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is one of the sutras from the Radiant Sutras. This body is made of earth and gold, sky and stars, rivers and oceans, masquerading as muscle and bone. Every substance is here. Diamonds and silver, magical elixirs, ambrosia that gives visions, herbs that nourish and heal. The foundation of the planet, immortal magnetic iron, circulating in the blood. Every element in you loves the others. Earth loves rain, sky loves sun, and sun loves the space it shines through, and space loves everyone equally. In meditation, luxuriate in knowing this deep and simple truth. Every cell is an organ of sense infused with majesty. There is a space in the heart where everything meets. Come here if you want to find me. Mind, senses, soul, eternity, all are here. Are you here? Enter the bowl of vastness that is the heart. Listen to the song that is always resonating, and give yourself to it with total abandon. Quiet ecstasy is here, and a steady, regal sense of resting in a perfect spot. You who are the embodiment of blessing, once you know the way, the nature of attention will call you to return. Again and again, answer that call and be saturated with knowing I belong here and I am at home.
Now I have a doubt. Did you take like your name Ambrose from that?
No, I didn't. That's my given name is Ambrose, but it's just beautiful. It's
Oh,
poetic how that worked out,
yeah.
Ambrosia. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always thought it was like an artistic name.
No, yeah, it's my given name from my father's side of the family. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. Well, now I will read. It's called My Cacao Blood. And so, yeah, I wrote this poem for those that are watching, listening. I wrote this poem, uh, I guess, about a year ago when I was in my cacao facilitator training with Carlos and Michelle. Warm in my fingertips, heavy in my hands, as I draw you to my chest and breathe you in, so full of possibilities of light and of dark, of love not yet lost, but waiting to be found with my own intention. I bring you to my lips, and depth fills my mouth. Sparks run down my throat, igniting along the way, turning to fire at the pit of my belly. You enter my veins, my heart, and become one with my blood. As you course through my body, gently at first, you inspire thought before form. Before the stories we weave together from past experiences and future expectations. My mind becomes blue sky, and my thoughts the changing clouds. You make a bed for me on the soft grass as I bask in the golden sun and observe. As you course through my body, picking up pace, you inspire movement, an awakening of all my senses, a full incarnation of this form. I am at home in my body. I am at home on this earth. As you course through my body, I begin to tune inwards, liquid energy pregnant with potential, with vitality. With love, this oceanic energy ebbs and flows, sometimes tranquil trickles and sometimes wild waves. But through the waves, I do not waver, embracing all of me, all that is. To the eternal song, we begin to dance again, my beloved cacao blood.
Love that.
Mm-hmm. A lot of that poem was really inspired by you guys and the way that you facilitated our training and our ceremonies, just this idea of the ebb and flow, of energy. And I remember using the word incarnation. That was something that I remember hearing you say a lot, Michelle, just like feeling fully into this particular incarnation and feeling so much bliss in embracing all of that and all of who we are right in this very moment. So that was a lot of inspiration from you two.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I love how this giving and receiving is
Mm-hmm.
just like sharing, because we inspire you and then you inspire us back. Now
Yeah.
I'm feeling so inspired because I love to write a lot also,
Mm.
but lately, like for years I have not been writing, and like a week ago I just started like writing.
Yes.
Like, oh, I should take out some poems from that.
Absolutely. Yes. I can't wait to hear them.
Maybe they come out in a song.
Yes. Oh, yes, please.
Oh yeah, your way of writing, because I do most of the songwriting, but now that
Hmm.
she's been writing songs, like her way of writing is kind of like that. Like it seems like it started out like a poem because it's very like figurative in a way, her way of writing, and I'm
Hmm.
a little bit more like on the spot of what I'm trying to say.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's beautiful to have
Yeah.
that way of writing that is not so literal.
I love that,
Hmm.
like how Andrea just said here, like she could feel everything running through her body. Like she just
Hmm.
got into a cacao ceremony from your poem, I think.
Yes. Oh, I
That's
love that.
beautiful because there's a
Yeah.
lot of images
Yeah.
just showing up.
Hmm.
Maybe images, maybe just the sensation, maybe, I don't know, some colors just
Hmm.
by listening to these poems.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's
Really.
what I mean, poetry, I love about it that it can capture a moment, it can capture a feeling, it can capture a particular medicine like cacao. And so, that's really, it really is capturing the essence or the spirit of whatever it is that you're wanting to, portray and put out there into the world. And so even if you're not, I can read a poem about grief, and even if I'm not grieving anything at that particular moment, I can feel the grief move through my body. And it's the same thing with medicine. If I am to write a poem about cacao and read it to people, people can actually tap into Mama Cacao and her spirit. Same thing with other medicines. If I were to write a poem about, Grandmother Aya or things like that, then the spirit of the medicine can be in the poem and can enter into people through that.
Yeah.
Have you found yourself in a cacao ceremony and just like feeling like I have to write this poem right now?
Have I? I'm sure that I have. I've definitely gotten lots of downloads and things like that, during ceremony, and it comes out in journaling, and sometimes it comes out in a poem, or sometimes it just comes out in words on a page. And but I've definitely gotten that inspiration from ceremonies.
And have you found improvising, like a poem right there, just like coming out in the middle of the ceremony?
Yeah. I have found that. And if I don't have something to write down with, a lot of times in ceremony, it'll come out for me in my voice. And so it'll be, this just idea of a poem or this feeling that kind of wants to come through, and I'll let it come through just in toning or in humming along with the music, or maybe even moving my body in a certain way. And so my idea of poetry is definitely expanded. It doesn't have to be just words on a page. It could be poetry is a particular way that I move my body in that moment, and that feels like poetry to me.
My God. I'm starting like a cacao state without drinking any cacao right now.
Yes, I love that so much.
Delicious. Yeah. Okay. I just on poetry right now.
Good.
A lot
That's
of
the beauty of it. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Taylor, for sharing
Yeah.
art and poetry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Inspiring all of us.
Absolutely. Thank you for creating this space that we can, talk about this and enter into this cacao ceremony unknowingly together.
Yeah. Andrea says we're all in the cacao. What?
Ceremony.
In the cacao ceremony. Cacao spirit.
In the cacao spirit, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. That's magical about plants also. We can just invoke them even if we're not trying them physically. The spirit is there. So
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something even like many years back when we used to do a lot of peyote. I remember the maracame, the elder, the shaman, no, that said, well, once the spirit has come into you, you just need to call it back. And yeah, it's important to remember that it's something that we always have within and we can always recall back. And it's obviously very beautiful to take it in and to remember that in our bodies. But at the same time, it's something that thankfully never leaves us. It's like when you visit a place and when you close your eyes and you like go back into that place, it just fills you up with those memories and emotions and even like the things you learned at that time space. And it's beautiful to have that seed within us.
It is. Yeah, I mean, everything that exists in nature, exists within us, as within, so without. And so all of that is in us. And so if I want to feel like the ocean, I can close my eyes and I can feel like the ocean, or if I want to feel like the sunlight, or if I want to feel like a thunderstorm, or, a particular medicine, even if I've had, I don't know if I've experienced it myself, but I've definitely had other people reflect back to me, you know, that they haven't even had this particular medicine yet, but if they can get themselves into that state, they can feel the energy of that medicine because, you know, before the beginning of time, you know, it's all built into us and built into this particular incarnation of us. And that's a really beautiful gift to be able to tap into anything at any time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beauty about humans as well. We're kind of like chameleons of nature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
With anything at any point.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a gift.
That's so magical. So thank you a lot also for our Instagram community here, sharing, connecting, sharing in commentaries. Please, if you see this in a recording, feel free also to keep sharing, to keep commenting. We love to read you, to receive you. And also to invite you, because we're starting our 4th generation of expansive art this August 15th. This time it will be only English version, because we do sometimes Spanish, sometimes English, sometimes bilingual. It's really fun.
Yeah, beautiful. Oh, I could not recommend it enough to anybody that's considering learning more about this medicine. It was, you know, you have those moments in life that just mark, you know, it's like a little bookmark that just shifts you into a new chapter. And your facilitation was definitely one of those moments for me. So, maybe I'll take another training from you guys when you do another bilingual one, because, okay, let me see. Yo aprendiendo español, pero no entiendo mucho.
Nice. Oh, that would be the best way to learn.
Yeah, right.
We're saying that because last group was bilingual. So some of them, we had one person, Laurel, which she talks only English but lives in Mexico.
Oh,
it was like, oh, here's also like Spanish classes for me.
Yeah.
We were reading everything, you know, first English, Spanish, first also in songs like Spanish. So she was learning Spanish also. So it's combo training. You can learn Spanish also.
That's perfect. I need that.
I reminded you that you're always welcome to all the trainings that we do. All the students can repeat and can join in, and well, that, you know, the information stays with you always, so you can always revise it and join and share with other groups. We're also talking about maybe inviting other past students if they want to come in and share a little bit of their medicine, maybe a poem, you know, in your case.
Yeah. Oh, I would be honored. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really nice. Let's do that. Okay. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your time, Taylor, your smiles.
Yeah.
It's been so wonderful to connect with you because I remember a lot the process you were going on when we were on the training. And now, like in a totally different frequency, smile, you know, your face, everything. So it's really, really nice to know that Cacao and Ceremony, of course, has been part of this transformation, and it's so tangible, you know, right now.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Taylor. Let's keep connecting. See you in Mexico soon.
Yes, yes, you will. See you soon.
Also, we want to go to Austin soon, so let's make some together.
Yes, let me know. Let me know when you do.
Want to take a passport? Well, we can move.
Yes, perfect. All right. Thank you so much, you guys. Bye.
Have a nice day. Thank you, Andrea, Michael, everyone.
Thanks for joining in.
Bye.
Bye.